After high school, I knew I wanted to go to college. Of course, coming from the farm, we were very poor. Outhouse, wasp in the summertime, scorpions in the heat. In the wintertime, braving that cold to go out to the outhouse, having to get water out of the well to take a bath after brother used water first. And so those were very hard times. And the one lesson that the farm taught me was that never again in my life would anything measure up to being in the cotton fields, chopping cotton sun up to sundown in 110-degree heat, morning to night, leading the hands. Nothing would ever compare to that, no matter what. And so it was a great lesson, I think, living out on the farm, because all the rest of life was bound to be good compared to that. But wanted to go to college, so I knew I had to have money, so I needed a GI Bill, which I could get at that time, and that would get me to college. So I joined the Army, and while I was at Fort Riley, Kansas, President Eisenhower recognized that future wars would not be like all the wars back to Bible time, where you had people in uniform on one side and identifying uniforms on the opposing side, and battle lines lined up with artillery and tanks and machine guns, duking it out with bayonets on the battle line. That the future wars would be, a lot of it fought in civilian clothes, assassinations, sabotage, espionage, and that the future wars were going to be fought by spies, and he needed a special troop, and so he called it Special Forces, and needed special people to get in, and they had to be physically fit and mentally up to the task. So at Fort Riley, why, there were 200 that volunteered to go into his new unit at the end of our graduation, and 7 of us passed that test. It was 3 days, 4 nights, grueling. I don't know if it's so much physical ability or mental ability, it's just who survived the dead-gum thing. And so I went into 10th Special Forces, went to jump school, had to be parachute qualified at Fort Bragg. Then I volunteered to go to Korea. That was going on at the time, and I thought the government spent so much money on me, I ought to be paying it back. So in a night training jump, it was supposed to be a jump at still sunset. It wasn't supposed to be at night jump, but we had a C-114 flying boxcar pull up to us. We struggled and got on with all of our equipment, and over 100 pounds total with the chute and all, and waddled up the gangplank and got on, went off down the runway, and we could hear me hollering, "Abort, abort." And one of the props was out of torp, and it wasn't getting enough RPMs to get off the ground. So shut it down, brought us back to the taxi area. We got out, and by that time the sun was going down, and they had to get another plane and find enough air crew that was sober enough and hadn't been drinking to fly. So they went through the clubs and everything else to find somebody that could fly, and they came up to us about midnight, and we'd been playing cards and sleeping and so forth, and even took our chutes off and so forth and our packs, and we're lying there napping and so forth, and this Goonie bird pulled up, a C-147. They always fly, and so we loaded onto that, and we took off into the night. It's going to be a combat jump, and we were going to jump at 1,200 feet, and so going out through the farmlands, why you could see car lights of probably high school kids on a late date coming home and whatever, but on the ground. But we were supposed to jump on a cornfield. It was freshly plowed, and we had to get out of the plane in 10 seconds, 9 of us, a Green Beret team. If we didn't get out within 10 seconds, then we wouldn't hit that plowed field. We'd be hitting chicken coops, barbed wire fences, stock ponds, streams, barn houses, and so forth. And a first lieutenant in the door why a package of our equipment for the time that we were going to be in the field caught two corners in the door, pushing it out. He had to pull it back, straighten it out, pushed it out. Finally, he jumped out right behind it, and we were just on each other's back, getting out, trying to beat that 10 seconds. Well, chutes popped open, and the plane flew on off into the night, and total silence. Why, the sergeant and I, because we'd gotten out on each other's back, why, we were bumping chutes. And I was just a corporal at the time, and so he was saying some not very nice things about me and using four-letter words a lot to tell me to bruise my risers and move over. So I pulled over and got away from him, but then as I looked down, there he was underneath me. Well, his chute was robbing the air and creating a vacuum for mine, and so I pulled my risers to move away from being on top of his, and when I did, my chute Roman candled, and it just collapsed. I fell free, and absolutely no chute at all. Landed on top of his chute, thought if I could get an arm over into the apex, maybe I could hold on to his chute and slide on off the silk, and maybe I'd be all right if I rode his chute down. But I did slide off the silk and slipped, and I was falling, and 32 feet per second. The ground was rushing up at me. No time to get out of reserve, crashed through a tree, hit the ground. I thought I was dead, and I thought, is this the way it is when you're dead? You're looking around and you can see things still. My back hurt terribly, and a guy was screaming back over there, one of my friends, and Parsons, where are you? I had the aid bag and was the medic for the jump. I tried to get to him, and I couldn't move. They got a litter jeep into us and picked us up. I thought I would die getting across that cornfield, bopping up and down the ruts. But was in the paralysis ward for 4 months, got out and went ahead, instead of going to Korea, went right back to my unit and went to Germany, went back to jumping again. And